That's cheating! What's cheating?
In May 17th, 1977, the first Chuck E. Cheese Pizza Time Theater opened up in San Jose, California, being created by Atari founder Nolan Bushnell, looking to expand the reach of his arcade machines to a wider public. With the target audience being mainly kids, the pizza place housed many Atari arcade machines, and what today we may only see as a norm for many places, then was revolutionary, and the place was an absolute hit, and would go on to be very popular before the video game crash of 1983, which would cause the place to spiral into debt, and eventually having to close its doors due to bankruptcy. We, however, don't remember the place because of its rich and interesting history with many ups and downs, or its rivalry with another pizza place, or the constant fights that for some reason break out at this place. Like, seriously, the number of fights that have been recorded from here is astounding. Instead, we remember it for its characters. These are the pizza players, a band of animatronics with Chuck E. Cheese, a rat with a New Jersey accent, as its main mascot. The restaurant certainly had a massive cultural impact, to which we still see today, and a clear example of it is, of course, our beloved franchise of Five Nights at Freddy's, which arguably has been a larger cultural hit in itself, so of course it's only natural that a fan game revolving around this original restaurant would be created. Five Nights at Chuck E. Cheese Rebooted, by the people over at the Radiance team, if you didn't know, is actually of the remake of a much older game. Much inspiration is taken from the first game, although it isn't just a complete remaster and also brings some new stuff of its own, original ideas and characters. The main setting of the pizza place looks to be the original San Jose Pizza Time Theater location. This is made very obvious due to the very distinct stages which the animatronics are in, called the portrait show, where the animatronics would sit high up on the walls inside these portraits, trying to give off the appearance of a moving picture in the frame, and I say trying because it's not very effective. The game, simply put, is fun as fuck. What many see as simply just a FNAF but Chuck E. Cheese clone, has actually a lot more into it that is invested. With every single second of the game I was having fun, and at no point did I feel burnt out or even felt a little tired. Even with its very lackluster story when compared to other fan games, it's still simply tiers above the rest when it comes to fun factor, and only a small margin of games really being capable of competing in this department. But why?
Wrong one and I'm dead. Stack of pans, this one?
Which one? That's a yellow pen, right?
Well, the first thing to understand to really get an idea of why this game is so fun, of course, you need to look at it from a night-by-night perspective. In Night 1, we're presented to the one and only threat of the night, Charles Entertainment Cheese, the face of the game. However, how Chuck works is very simple. When looking behind you, you'll find a doorway where, as you may expect, Chuck will try and attack you from. You can counter this by closing the gate with this lever right here, but unlike the door systems in FNAF 1, you can't keep these shut. The moment you let go of it, it will go up like nothing ever happened, so you having to focus on Chuck will make you unable to counter any other animatronic as a result. This of course isn't a problem on Night 1, but quickly it will become apparent how significant this is. In Night 2, you'll see signs of the upcoming storm. Costume, which has its basing on the actual suit they used at the time, and Jasper both activate this night, and quickly make themselves present. Well, at least Jasper does. Costume just kind of hung around here looking scary until Night 5 for me, so Jasper, however, does add to the night. With this night, a little switch is added right here. When turning it on, an audio will play which, as you may guess, will force Jasper, who will be attacking at your table, to return to his portrait. Just like the door, however, the switch also needs to be held down to actually be effective. So let go of it while he's at your table and boom, Jasper will kill you. With Night 3, finally comes the use of the cameras, which before they were used for no reason except keeping track of what stage the animatronics attack were in. Now, with the added enemy of Munch, who randomly throughout the night will leave the portrait, which then you will have to chase after him in the cameras to neutralize the threat. If not, well, you can guess what happens. Night 4, again, we gain another animatronic in the form of Helen Henny, who in a similar way to Jasper will come to your office, but she will not attack you by coming to your desk. Instead, whenever her sound cues play, letting you know that she's there, you must look back to the hallway and then look back, where then she will simply appear in the left or right ends of your office, which then finally play the audio and you'll bring her back to her portrait. You can probably by now have seen what we have building up here, but in case you don't, somehow, let's get back into Night 5 to really get a grasp of things. In Night 5, we're presented to the final animatronic of the night, Pasquale, who will once in a while start spazzing out in his portrait, giving the sign to start playing the stage called to put him at rest. Nothing really special comes from Pasquale. He's just kind of a little spanner in the works that really you won't have much trouble with if you keep attention to the sound cues. What actually is the problem tonight is our girlfriend Costume, who finally actually does become a problem, slowly making his way toward the hallway, where he will then stop you from closing the door, which is why through the night you'll want to stare at him for a bit and slow him down. To really get a grasp of how he works, I've left a little link down below to the wiki page where they'll go in depth into just how about every character there works, of which I'm way too lazy to actually put time into reading all of this, and neither do I need to, so go ahead. But anyway.
I want the government to know where I am, you know?
Now we've covered just about every main important animatronic. Of course, we still have the custom night animatronics that you can unlock, which they are unnecessary to cover. You also have Krusty the Cat to deal with in these post-night minigames, which I think is a little neat callback to Krusty being part of the puppet show, although he would eventually be replaced by Munch. But focusing here on the main cast. Something you may have perhaps noticed is the way in which all the animatronics complement each other during gameplay. And through the night, you'll have multiple times where at least 2 animatronics will attack you, where you'll then need to figure out how to counter both, if it is possible at all. For example, if Chucks were to attack forcing you to look back, it would open the possible path to immediately counter Helen had she attacked you at the same time, this being a positive path that is possible. However, at the same time, you could have been met with a scenario where Chuck is attacking you from behind, but instead of Helen, you have Jasper, which then gives you the option to either continue closing the gate, or if you're already doing Jasper before, quickly use the audio call to move him back and then remove Chuck from the halls. The choice is having a very small time frame and having consequences that very may well end your night. This may seem like a simple concept, and one that you'll likely find in other FNAF games, but for some reason I just found it to be very noticeable here and something that I saw a lot more times than I often do in other games. Despite all of my attempts, not once did I find a form and strategy which was invincible, something that I have managed to do in just about every other FNAF fan game, which is great. This added level of chance and possibilities and randomness is something that FNAF games in my opinion absolutely need, and something that we have seen primarily in only the games of FNAF 1 and Pizzeria Simulator. Chances. Chances may seem like a negative quality to have, but it's the opposite. It adds a whole other layer of fun that always keeps the player on edge, dreading whether the unbeatable challenge finally comes along. This is one of those things that in my opinion makes this so great and fun. And it's worth it also to note that this feeling of dread is also amplified by the great visuals of this great game, which in a lot of times had me immersed completely in the experience, which I definitely it's not what I expected when first booting up the game. Of course, again, not to brag or anything, I wasn't scared. Another factor that I think really helped to be the icing on top of this incredible visual was the numerous references of the original real-life location throughout. In the cameras, you'll see little references here and there that really serve to give off that feeling that you really are a guard at this Pizza Time location. And the visual, well, it's not necessary to state the obvious, but in case you somehow missed it, this game looks fucking incredible. And I can say that with complete confidence, that this is one of the best looking FNAF fan games I've played, staying up there with even the likes of Dryer's J, with the exception of that this game isn't complete dog shit. I've spent quite some time on this game really looking around in the extra menu to really appreciate how nice everything looks. The animatronics themselves being a great example. I mean, just look at every single one of them. They all just look so well and so detailed. The amount of time and effort that must have been dedicated to get these things as accurate as possible, which, while also having that horror spin added to it, is astounding. Five Nights at Chuck E. Cheese was a great experience with very little number of flaws. I really do think it's safe to say that this game is one of the greats, with an incredibly fun gameplay, great cast of characters, and all very nice designs, visuals that amplify the quality of the game, and much more. Not to mention, of course, that this game heavily uses sound cues, which is appreciated. It hits just about every single checkmark necessary to make a good Five Nights game, and more too. Because remember, I really only covered the first 5 nights, because there's still a whole custom night mode to cover, which I'll let you do yourself. I really do think that this game is one worthy of a try, because as far as it goes, this is one of the best fan games I've played. I know I've said this a lot, but I just really have to hit the point here, and one that you should play too. But anyway, I'm passing here by to tell you the few things. The first, to apologize for the 2-3 months of no videos that I've had. Second is, after you've enjoyed the video, then feel free to leave a little feedback down below. Or if you didn't enjoy it, and say why you didn't enjoy it. I really love to see what y'all have to say about the video, and while you're at it, join the Discord server. It's kinda dead right now. Please, go there, make a friend, and make it a little bit more active. Please. And lastly, I've created a second channel where I'll be uploading some quote-unquote extra content there. Some scrap videos, some short-form content maybe that you'll like. But besides that, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.